Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Warcry 2.0. Actually, this is going to be the very last one in our looks at all the new faction choices, unit choices in the factions from the Warcry Grand Alliance books, and I'm really working hard on that big old tier list now. So hold your horses for that. It's going to be around shortly, although do expect me to probably take a week or a bit longer than that because it is going to be a lot of work, even though I've already done a lot. Yeah, so let's get right into our last look, and that's the look at Sylvaneth. So Sylvaneth is simple because they only got 3 new models, which is the Arch Revenant, the Branch Wraith, and the Branch Witch. The Arch Revenant is 250 points, which is obviously quite expensive. However, he is a movement 10 flying model, which is always awesome as we know. Toughness 4 and 25 wounds, not the most survivable, but he's fine. He also has a range of 2, so he doesn't need to get into super danger range right away all the time. Has 4 attacks, strength 4, 2-5 damage, 4-6 damage on average, which is quite good. It's not amazing, but then again, it's really not bad. And yeah, just having a movement 10 flying piece is always going to be awesome. He can totally hunt down weaker chaff models very easily. Yeah, cool model. Then we have the Branch Wraith, who's 180 points, movement 6, toughness 3, 22 wounds. That's the same for the Branch Witch, actually. She's also 180 points and got that move 6, toughness 3, and 22 wounds. They also got the same ranged magic missile attack, the standard 7-inch range, 2 attack, strength 3, 3-6 damage. Very, very average magic casters here, even though they are quite quick. The only thing that's going to differentiate them is their abilities. So, speaking of that, let's have a look at that stuff. Let's make this a little bit bigger for you. So as you can see, none of these have great damage point values. For the Branch Wraith and Witch, that's because their damage is bad. For the Arch Revenant, that's because he can fly and move 10 inches, which always costs you proportionally a lot of points, and therefore it's not gonna look best in the damage per point value. So what new abilities did we get? Well, we didn't get anything new on the unit abilities, no surprise there, because we didn't get any new units either. However, we did get a bunch of new lead abilities. So for the Arch Revenant, he can pick one enemy within 1 inch of him and roll a dice. On a 3+, it's 1 damage. On a 5+, it's damage equal to the value of the ability. That is not a horrible ability, but it's also not that great. Yeah, you might use it at some point, but yeah, again, it's not that amazing. If you could attack twice, I think Onslaught is gonna serve you better. But if you can't attack twice, this is probably the better choice, because it's a little more likely to deal some decent damage, at least if the value of the ability is looking good. Then we got a double for the Branch Witch. She can pick one enemy within 6 inches, roll a number of dice equal to the value of the ability, and each 4+ is dealing 1 damage. That is really, really bad ability in my opinion, and just doesn't justify bringing the Branch Witch at all. Then we got a triple for our Branch Wraith. She also has a very bad ability, because she can heal all friendly models within 6 inches of her by 1 point. Honestly, what's 1 point? That's nothing. It's ridiculous. So that's a completely garbage ability. I don't see any point in bringing her. So that's 2 of the 3 new models that are useless as hell. Great. Then we got another triple ability for the Arch Revenant. She can add 1 to melee attacks for visible friendly models within 3 inches of her. I highlighted that visible there because that means it's not going to affect herself. 3 inch isn't a massively big bubble, so only hitting visible friendly models within 3 inches when it doesn't even affect yourself isn't as good as many of the other bubble buffs are. And then we have a quad that all the leaders can use, which is adding half the value of the ability to to strength and toughness for all friends within 6 inches. This actually is not a bad ability. It's not amazing, but it can be quite good if you have a blob going, buffing all your Spider Revenants to toughness 5, for example. So I'm always assuming you're rolling a 3 or 4, like an average roll. You buff your toughness to 5, which suddenly makes you a lot more survivable. You're buffing your strength to 5, 6, even for the Spider Revenants, 5 for the Tree Revenants, which makes them hit harder too. So really, really not bad there. Anyways, guys, let's have a look at a list I would suggest you bring. So, as you can see, we're running 10 models. That's because we have a lot of great choices for cheap models and some not bad expensive ones too. I would definitely bring the Arch Revenant now because he's your only choice for a high movement flying piece with pretty good damage output and decent abilities to boot. So I think the Arch Revenant definitely worth bringing. I also really like having one Colonel Hunter with sword. Alternatively, you could bring a scythe as well. It's also good, but he's just 20 points more expensive, which is basically the difference between a Spider Revenant and a Tree Revenant. Anyways, so I think bringing a sword is fine. Very, very tanky, good damage output, so you just get another brawly type fighter in your warband that isn't your branch witch. Then for a hero choice, I would go with the Shadestalker. Sorry, your Arch Revenant is what I meant. For a hero choice, I would go with Shadestalker, so the Spider Revenant leader, which is mainly down to the fact that her damage output is insanely high. It's actually the best in the entire warband. No, not quite. The Kernoth Huntmasters are better, but yeah, she's so much cheaper than the Kernoth Huntmasters, and she really brings a lot to the table in terms of damage output. Her survivability, of course, is a lot lower, but it's all very much fine for the low points cost here, and I think having the Shadestalker is going to be beneficial. And then I'd bring 4 Spider Revenants. That would make 5 Spider Revenants in total. Do keep in mind they have that great double, which allows you to pin enemies in place, which is always good. So that can potentially remove some of your opponent's best models from the game, essentially, or from a turn at least. So pretty good there. And also the Spider Revenants have really good damage output for their points value at only 70 points. With 4 attacks, strength 4, that is really good damage output at 3.3. Then we got the Scion, and then we got 3 Tree Revenants. Really, I think you only need 1 for the teleporting ability if you want that, because it just gives you some possibly cool stuff with grabbing a treasure and then teleporting away, for example, or teleporting onto an objective last turn to grab that, and so on. So just potentially some cool stuff out of the triple for these guys. You don't necessarily need 3, but they are very cheap and they allow you to bring 10 models, and they are not bad for their points. They're not gonna do great stuff for you, but they are not bad at 50 points really. So yeah, that's my list here, and I think this has definitely been a buff to Sylvaneth, if only for the Arch Revenant, sorry. The Branch Wraith and Branch Witch are not that good, but the Arch Revenant is very good, so I really like that change, having him in there. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching, and do be looking out for that tier list, which is coming up shortly. Thank you very much, and see you in the next one.